Hello, in this video we're going to learn how to use the fixed length files as source. A fixed length file source could be any text file, a flat file that contains data, and the data is in a fixed length format where each of the fields have fixed width. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. So to create a source, you'll go to the sources inside the toolbox, drag and drop a source onto the designer, and then let's go ahead and have a look at the properties. So in the very first page you can specify the location of the file. Let's go ahead and point to an existing file that contains data. So this file contains data about the customers. Then let's have a look at the other options. If the file contains header, then you check this, and by default it is checked. That means my source file contains header along with the data. And then there are options about if you want to partition the file for reading. If you want to speed up a reading of the files, you may use the partitioning, and you can have multiple partitions for your source file. Then you specify the record delimiters for your fields in the data. You can specify the delimiters such as the line feed and carriage return, or the carriage return, or the line feed, or no delimiter. I'm going to pick the carriage return and the line feed and do not specify any record length. However, if your file does not contain any delimiters, you can specify no delimiter. In that case, you can specify the record length for each of your records. You can pick the encoding from the next drop down, and we support all different type of encodings. In this case, I'm going to leave it by default, that is Unicode UTF-8 encoding. That is most common encoding for data files. We support even a COBOL data file as source in fixed length, or it can be even a hierarchical file, and we have help sections for these two. If you want to learn more about them, please have a look at those help videos. In advanced file options, we specify about the header matching. So if you have created this source once and your files keep changing, that means your data is coming in slightly different format. In that case, you can use this, such as you can specify when the next time it runs and your data is coming in a new file, but you want to just make sure that it is matching exactly the same layout as this file, then you can say enforce exact header match, or you can say column orders in the file may be different from the layout. That means your new file is containing data where the columns are in different order than the original file. Or you can leave this by default, that is column headers in file may be different from the layout. That means use the layout column headers to identify the columns. Then you can specify how many rows are going to span the header. Mostly it is going to be one row, and that's for leaving it as 1. You can specify if you want to skip any initial rows for reading. In this case, I'm going to read everything. Do not skip anything. And then if you want, you can have even raw text filters to filter out incoming data. For null value treatment, you can check if you want the application to treat empty strings as null value or not. If you check this, that means all the empty strings will be considered as null value inside the application. Most of these options you can leave it what they come by default, and move to the next page, and it shows you the data from the real file, and it shows best guess for even layout. If you scroll to the right, you can see here these blue lines show the demarcation of the fields. So this is the first field is ending, second field is ending, and so on and so forth. So it has done already a guess. But however, if you look closely, you can see here the very first one, that is my customer, and there's a company name, there's no gap, and that's why it was unable to identify it. So I click here right after customer, and it creates a blue line. That means the first field ends at this position, that is 5, 6, 7, 8. At position number 8, the customer is ending and the company name is starting. It goes on up to 48, and so on and so forth. So let's scroll to the right and make sure that everything is good. It looks good. However, there is one point where there is a postal code and country, and again we see there is no demarcation here. So let's go ahead and click at the end of postal code, and you can see here blue line again. However, if you click a blue line by mistake, you can click on it again and it will take it out. So as I had one line again and I clicked on it again, it went away. So that's how you tell the application how your data is structured and what is the fixed length of each of the fields. You go to the next step and it shows you the nice layout here. It shows that the fields are customer, company name, contact title, address, city, region, postal code, country, phone, and fax. And it shows you the length of each of the fields. If you want, you can change the length here as well, and that will reflect inside in the previous screen. So this is manual override. And by these clicks, we have created the fixed length source. If you click on the chevron, you can see the layout, and it has all the fields ready for your mapping. At this point, you can right click on the header and preview the data from the source file. So I click on the preview, and you can see here for each of the records, it shows me the real data. So it is the real data after reading the file source and parsing each of the individual fields and showing me the data. This concludes this video. Thanks for watching.